My lips trembled when I saw him. He looked almost exactly the same. Slightly older, more refined, maybe even a little tired, but his presence hit me like a familiar storm I once thought I had weathered for good. The cafe around us faded into silence. I stood there, breath shallow, trying to decide if turning around would be cowardice or survival. 3 years. 3 years without a single word. Not even a message. I told myself I hated him, that I was done, that it was better this way. And yet, when I got the message yesterday, just his name and a time, I didn't even hesitate. My thumb hovered over the delete button for a second, but something in my chest pulsed before I even realized I was already replying. Okay. He hadn't seen me yet. I stood by the entrance, watching him, a man who once unraveled everything I thought I knew about love and loyalty. I used to think I was strong, above temptation, immune to the kind of chaos he brought into people's lives. But that was before I knew how seductive chaos could be. He stirred his coffee with the same absent-minded circles he used to make on my back when we lay in bed. My stomach flipped. That memory wasn't supposed to be accessible anymore. I'd buried it. Or I thought I had. Now it was right there again, fresh, dangerous. I took a breath and stepped forward. The sound of my heels on the wooden floor felt too loud. He looked up. And that was it. His eyes locked onto mine like nothing had changed. No guilt. No apology. Just the same undeniable pull. The same fire he used to light in me without even trying. My body betrayed me instantly. My lips trembled. Not from fear. From recognition. He smiled. The exact half-smile he used to give me when he wanted to say something he shouldn't. And in that moment, I knew I wasn't ready. Not to face him. Not to face everything I had worked so hard to forget. I wanted to speak. To tell him he shouldn't have come. That I was married now. That he had no right. That this wasn't fair. But nothing came out. Not a single word. My throat clenched. My heart was pounding. My mind yelling, say something, but I just stood there. Silent. He pulled out the chair across from him, inviting me in like no time had passed. Like this wasn't a terrible idea. Like I hadn't rebuilt my life piece by piece after what he did. And I sat down. Because even after everything, part of me needed to know why he came back. Or maybe I needed to see for myself if the fire was still real, or if I had just been romanticizing the ruin. But as he looked at me, with eyes that held too many truths I tried to ignore, I realized the danger wasn't in the past. It was in this moment. In the way I still responded. In the way I didn't stop myself from coming. And worse, how I still didn't want to. He was the kind of man who made you believe in things you shouldn't. The first time I met him, it wasn't love at first sight. It was something deeper, like my soul leaned forward before my body had the courage to move. He wasn't available. That was clear. But he never said it and I never asked. I should have. That silence became our foundation. Fragile, beautiful, doomed. It started with small things. Coffee at the same place every morning. Conversations that lasted longer than they should have. A glance that lingered half a second too long. I told myself we were just friends, that I was imagining it. But the night we got caught in the rain, when he took my hand and didn't let go, all the lies I told myself cracked open. He kissed me like it was inevitable, like he'd been waiting for permission from the universe. And I gave it. Every rule I'd lived by collapsed that night. I was engaged. He was committed too. But in that moment, it felt like we were the only honest thing in the world. We met in hidden places. Hotel rooms that blurred into each other. His touch was a drug. His voice a lullaby. He made me feel alive, electric. But the guilt lived under my skin, no matter how I tried to ignore it. Every time I went home to my fiancé, I carried pieces of another man with me. I hated myself. I justified it. I told myself we'd end it soon, that we just needed closure. But love doesn't listen to logic. And infatuation doesn't care who it hurts. Then came the unraveling. I found out he wasn't just seeing me. There was someone else. Maybe even more than one. I still remember the sting in my chest when I saw the messages. He didn't deny it. He didn't beg. He just stood there, eyes heavy, as if he'd always expected it to end like this. I screamed. I cried. He didn't chase me. I blocked him that night. Changed my number. Moved forward with my wedding. Not because I had healed, but because I needed something solid to hold on to. My husband was kind, steady, safe. He loved me in ways that didn't leave bruises on my heart. But he never got all of me. Because part of me was still somewhere else, stuck in those stolen moments and broken promises. I spent years convincing myself that it wasn't love, that it was a mistake, that people like him don't deserve second chances. But the truth? The truth is I never stopped feeling him in the spaces I tried to keep quiet. And when his name appeared on my phone yesterday, everything I buried clawed its way back to the surface. I didn't reply out of curiosity. I replied because I needed to know if the damage he did still held power over me, or if I could finally look him in the eye and feel nothing. I was wrong on both counts. We sat across from each other like strangers pretending we weren't something else. He spoke first, casually, like he hadn't disappeared, like the silence between us was just a pause, not a wound. I nodded at his words, not because they made sense, but because I didn't trust myself to respond. He talked about his job, how life had changed. I watched his hands move, remembering how they once knew every part of me. I hated how easily my body remembered. My mind was screaming, reminding me that I shouldn't even be here. But my heart wasn't cooperating. It was quiet, listening, wanting. He leaned forward slightly, his voice softer. "You look good," he said. I didn't say, "Thank you." I couldn't. I kept waiting for him to get to the reason he asked to meet, to say what he came here to say. But when he finally did, it was worse than I imagined. "I never stopped thinking about you," he said. The words hit harder than they should have. My first instinct was to shut it down. Remind him we had lives now, responsibilities, people who trusted us. But instead, I looked down at my coffee, silent, like that silence might protect me from what was happening inside. I wanted to say he had no right, that whatever we had was finished the moment he betrayed me. But the truth was messier, and I didn't want to look at it too closely. He reached out, gently brushing the edge of my sleeve. It was nothing. Innocent, maybe, but I felt it everywhere. The part of me that had been dormant for so long stirred, and I hated it. I hated how fast my walls crumbled in his presence. I hated that I still wanted answers. Or worse, that I still wanted him. He said he'd made mistakes, that he was afraid back then, that losing me was the one thing he regretted most. His voice didn't shake. Mine would have. So I said nothing, because if I spoke, I wasn't sure what would come out. Anger? Longing? Forgiveness? I didn't trust myself to find the right thing. Or maybe I knew the right thing and couldn't say it. He asked if I was happy. Not in the polite, surface-level way. In the way that demanded honesty. I should have lied. Told him I was absolutely. That my life was full, my marriage steady, my love complete. But my silence told him more than I wanted to give. For a moment, everything was still. His eyes didn't leave mine. The weight of every decision, every mistake, every version of love we'd touched, it all hung in the air between us. And I realized something terrifying. I hadn't come for closure. I came for something else. Maybe validation. Maybe temptation. But the words wouldn't come. Not the ones that would stop him. Not the ones that would save me from myself. I sat there, heart raw, knowing exactly where this could go, and not saying the one thing that would keep it from happening. I left without looking back. My legs moved on instinct, faster than my thoughts. He didn't follow. Or maybe he knew not to. The air outside felt heavier than it should have. I wanted it to feel like relief, like clarity, but it didn't. It felt like a door I didn't have the strength to close had just been left cracked open again. I got in the car, hands shaking, breath tight. My phone buzzed. It was him. One line. I meant every word. I stared at the screen until it dimmed. Then I deleted the message. But I didn't block him. I should have. But I didn't. Because part of me wanted to leave a way back. Not for him. For me. That quiet, selfish part that still wondered, what if? By the time I got home, the sun was almost gone. My husband was in the kitchen, humming to himself, setting down 2 plates like he always does. When he looked at me, he smiled the same soft smile he's been giving me for years. A smile that never asks for anything more than what I'm able to give. I smiled back, but it didn't reach my eyes. I don't think he noticed. Or maybe he chose not to. We ate in silence. Not because anything was wrong, but because comfort had replaced conversation a long time ago. And for the first time, I didn't know if that was a good thing. He told me about his day, about the neighbor's dog getting out again, and I nodded in all the right places. But my mind was elsewhere. Not with him. Not really. Later, lying in bed beside him, I stared at the ceiling, replaying everything. Every word, every glance, every hesitation. I wanted to believe I'd done the right thing by walking away. But the ache in my chest said otherwise. Not because I missed him. Not even because I still loved him. But because a part of me still wasn't whole. And I didn't know if it ever would be. I thought about telling my husband. About the meeting, the history, the way my heart betrayed me today. But what would I say? That I almost wanted to risk everything for something that once destroyed me? That the past still had teeth, and I let it sink in for a moment too long? No. I wouldn't say any of it. Some truths don't serve anyone. Some truths just break what's already holding on by threads. I turned off my phone, left it face down on the nightstand. I closed my eyes and pretended the weight in my chest was just exhaustion. I curled closer to the man who's never hurt me and wondered if loyalty is measured by action or by thought. And then I told myself it was over. But deep down, I knew it wasn't closure I found today. It was proof. Proof that some people never really leave you. And some stories don't need endings. They just need to stay unwritten.